Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Communications and Information. What decision has he made regarding the regulation of mobile phone termination rates?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I announced my decision to accept the Commerce Commission's recommendation to regulate mobile termination rates. Under the Telecommunications Act, I'm required to make the decision that best promotes competition for the long-term benefit of users of telecommunications services. After extensive consultation and analysis of the submissions, I believe this decision will provide for more competition, leading to more choice and better prices for consumers.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Supplementary to the Minister. What do these changes mean for consumers?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, the Commerce Commission will shortly begin its legislative process to set prices and other non-price terms which mobile carriers must offer. Once this has gone through, competition for consumers will be increased in the mobile marketplace, which will assist over time to achieve lower prices for consumers than would have occurred otherwise.
Claire Curran.
To the Minister, given his logical decision to regulate on mobile termination rates, what is the basis of his illogical decision to give a regulatory free pass to the coming new fibre network for 10 years?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure how that relates to the primary question.
Well, at least the primary question was included in the further question asked, but I accept the further question asked went beyond the scope of the primary question, and if the Minister doesn't have the information to answer it, that's perfectly reasonable to say that, because it did. If the Minister doesn't have... Order, I've got no idea what happened then, and I apologise to the House for that, but the Honourable Stephen Joyce, if he has the relevant information.
Mr. Speaker, I think the reality is that mobile termination rates and ultra-fast broadband are not in the scope of the same question, but if the member would like to repeat the supplementary, I'd be happy to have a crack at an answer for it.
If the member wishes to repeat the question, but I stress it should be within the scope of the primary question. Claire Curran.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. Given his logical decision to regulate on mobile termination rates, what is the basis of his illogical decision to give a regulatory free pass to the coming new fibre network for 10 years?
Order. Having listened to the question again, I gave it the benefit of the doubt first time round. The member cannot include in her question a claim that some decision was illogical. That is outside standing orders, and given that the subject matter is way beyond really the primary question to do with mobile termination rates, I can't expect the Minister to answer that. Question, point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, quite often in this House, members provide descriptions of policies or ministerial actions and questions that are not ruled out of order. And, sir, I'd seek your guidance and submit to you that oftentimes words used by members of the opposition are harsher than whether something is logical or illogical. And in this case, sir, my colleague's point...
Order, I don't need to hear this further. Had the question been absolutely within the scope of the primary question, I wouldn't have objected. I'd let the Minister deal with it. But given that the subject matter of that part of the question was way outside the primary question, I just felt that it goes beyond what's reasonable, and that's why I've ruled it out. The Honourable David.
Sorry to bother the Speaker further, but Mr. Speaker, that goes precisely to the matter at issue, which my colleague has asked, which is whether the use of regulation, which the Minister has upheld in his decision today as being...
The member will resume his seat. Order. The member's staying now to debate the issue. And he can't do that by way of point of order. I've ruled the question out. I gave the member... It was clear from the way the Minister tried to answer the question that the question was very marginal in relation to the primary question asked. I invited the member to repeat the question to see if she could bring it further within the scope of the primary question. She didn't. She repeated the part of the question that really is outside standing orders, and that's why I've ruled it out. Question number 3, the Honourable Jim Anderton.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister and asks, is the gap between our